It's time for Spotlight on Florida. Headlines, events, and interviews with tourism leaders. And now, here are your hosts, Joel Silver and Kenzie Krieger.
From all of us at Spotlight on Florida, we say Happy 4th of July as we celebrate the birth of our country. I'm Joel Silver in the Spotlight on Florida Tourism News Studio. Let's get into some headlines, and we start with Florida as part of the 250th celebration of America. The Great American State Fair has kicked off in Washington, D.C. The Florida Pavilion joins exhibits from every state and 6 U.S. territories at the expo, hosted by Freedom 250 on the National Mall through July the 10th. The exhibit highlights the people, places, industries, from space to agriculture, and culture that make Florida a destination. Those who visit the Florida Pavilion can explore 5 signature experiences unique to the Sunshine State. There's Florida History and Heritage, followed by the manatee, Florida's iconic marine mammal, highlighting the state's beloved gentle giant and conservation efforts. Visitors can also explore Florida's natural resources, celebrating the landscapes and waterways that define the state. The exhibit continues with Fresh from Florida, Florida Agricultural Heritage, honoring the state's farmers, ranchers, and growers, before concluding with Live More Florida Days, a celebration of Florida tourism, beaches, theme parks, nightclubs, breweries, and untouched natural beauty. It's all there, and it's all, that last part is about us, tourism, so it's a whole section dedicated toward what we do. Brian Griffin, CEO of Visit Florida, said, Visit Florida is proud to contribute to the Florida Pavilion at the Great American State Fair to celebrate America and share Florida's incredible story. Visitors to the Florida Pavilion will be able to explore Florida's long history, natural treasures, and current landmarks as they walk through the exhibit and experience the important role our state has played in America's story. So there you go. If you don't have summer plans over the next couple of weeks, you do now. Celebrate Florida and America's 250th and brush up on some history. Take a trip to D.C. Okay, folks, next up, social media. The 2026 FIFA World Cup has brought in millions of international visitors to the U.S., many of whom are discovering American foods for the first time, and some are absolutely obsessed. As we showed you a couple weeks ago, tourists are flocking to major cities like Boston, Dallas, and New York City to watch their home countries participate in the games. Soccer fans have gone viral for their heartwarming reactions to American culture, such as their disbelief at the sizes of food portions. But here in Florida, one Scottish soccer fan has been particularly enamored with the viral deli sandwich from Florida supermarket store Publix on a drive-by visit to West Palm Beach, Florida. In a video with over 50,000 likes, Instagram users at Shavulog filmed himself trying a chicken tender pub sub filled with lettuce, tomato, and ranch sauce. He said, "I've got no napkin, so this is going to be a tragedy," he said, remarking on the large size of the sandwich. The vlogger gave the sandwich high marks, saying, "The meat is tender and full of flavor." And up next in headlines, tourism numbers. Travel and Tour World reporting soaring tourism numbers in Orlando. The sun is shining brighter than ever in Orlando, with numbers reaching historic heights. The data shows that Orlando remains a top destination for travelers worldwide, welcoming 76.7 million visitors last year. That was a new record. The article makes special mention of the Universal Orlando Resort being a major attraction for those numbers, even more specifically mentioning their new value resorts, including Universal's Endless Summer Resort, Dockside Inn and Suites. The new value resort makes the dream of an Orlando vacation affordable to everyone and are helping those grow for Orlando, says Universal Studios. And I end with this by telling you, I recently stayed in that hotel, and what an experience it was. They are doing a great job with a value resort, but a great experience. So from all of us at here on Spotlight on Florida, we say good job to Universal Studios, and it was truly a pleasure to stay there. Stay with Spotlight on Florida all day long. We've got great news stories coming up today. We've got an episode of Sweet Florida, taking a look at some of the best suites in Florida, and an interview with our friends at the Florida Attractions Association. Stay with Spotlight on Florida. We're here all day. Our coverage of the 250th birthday of America continues, and we are with CEO Brian Griffin from Visit Florida, and we are so excited about Florida being represented in D.C. We've seen some of the images. Talk to me about what's happening in D.C. with our booth there.
So we've got the Great American State Fair. It's on the National Mall. Every state is represented. It is running from June 25th to July 10th, so there's still time if you're going to be in the area to go to the Great American State Fair. You've got rides, you got a Ferris wheel, food, but the state pavilions are where we really get to showcase our homes. And the Florida Pavilion, I have to say, is the best pavilion of all the states.
It looks like it from what I've seen.
We went all out. Visit Florida was one partner, but the whole state came together to make our pavilion. We've got history. We've got our natural treasures highlighted. It feels like you're in the Everglades underneath the water with a manatee. We've got agriculture and innovation, the space industry, and then we have giveaways. People have loved it. There's been lines out the door pretty much the whole fair. When I was there a couple days ago, the line stretched all the way across the mall. People were waiting to get in, see Florida, see the pavilion, and get their giveaway.
It's so exciting and just part of what we're doing here in Florida to celebrate, right? Because we're doing stuff all over the state.
100%, which is what we're doing here today in Liberty County. We are unveiling another monument in our statue series, which is a way to have an enduring tribute to the country leading up to the July 4th, but then one that'll last, that'll impress upon future generations, our ideals, the country, what it means, a reverence for liberty, and so that's part of what we're doing here, and they're doing the mic check right now.
Yeah, it sounds great. Well, we thank you for spending some time with us, talked about tourism in Florida and where we are.
Tourism in Florida is doing well. We're pleased to continue to have record-breaking years. You know, that might not always be the case, but tourism will continue to be strong in the state, and Visit Florida is going to make sure that we're driving that ball. We want to make sure people know about opportunities to be here. We're going to keep Florida top of mind for everyone across the country and in other markets around the globe when they're deciding where do I want to go vacation. We, of course, want to make sure they remember Florida first and foremost, and we want to expose them to new destinations, new places they can go around the state so we can disperse our tourists and have them encounter places like this, like Liberty County, which is actually the least populous county in Florida, but has some of the best natural treasures. You've got Torrey State Park, Apalachicola National Forest, things to do and see here that are just really unmatched.
Awesome. I love it. We thank you for everything you do, and we look forward to talking to you again. It's time now for an important moment here on Spotlight on Florida. For several months, we've watched as viewers have tuned in for the latest in tourism news, and we are so glad you like this new channel that brings you so much great information. But today, we broaden our scope as we release the first episode of a new show that has gotten rave reviews so far. Today is episode 1 of Sweet Florida. What is Sweet Florida? Well, working in conjunction with the great team at the Florida Restaurant Lodging Association, this show is going to shine the spotlight on the incredible hotels we have in the Sunshine State. On each show, we're going to show you some of the best hotel suites in Florida. But that's not all. We're also going to highlight the rest of the entire resort, as well as the community that the hotel resides in. It's going to be a great, great show. Already, our camera crews have been to Sarasota, Amelia Island, Orlando, and more. But today, for episode 1, we're going to begin in a city that you may not have thought of. We're going to Ocala, Florida to look at the Equestrian Hotel at the World Equestrian Center. And this place is not like anything you will ever see anywhere else. Take a look. Welcome to Ocala, Florida, the horse capital of the world. Behind me, the Equestrian Hotel at the World Equestrian Center. The city of Ocala, often referred to as the horse capital of the world, boasts more than just magnificent thoroughbreds. The city is a blend of rich history, natural beauty, and southern hospitality. From its historic downtown to its sprawling green pastures, Ocala offers a unique blend of leisure and adventure. Visitors can explore the nearby Silver Spring State Park, indulge in local cuisine, and of course, experience the equestrian lifestyle that defines this region. When you're ready for that, the World Equestrian Center is located right in the heart of the city. The WEC is the largest equestrian complex in the United States, a world-class, multi-indoor and outdoor arena facility offering state-of-the-art amenities to accommodate the equine industry and more. This place is a traveler's dream, whether you're a horse lover or just a fan of top-notch vacations. At the heart of the World Equestrian Center, we introduce you to the ultimate in luxury accommodations. As Ocala's only AAA 4-diamond resort and one of Time's 2024 World's Greatest Places, the Equestrian Hotel assures guests an unforgettable stay. The luxurious European design of this spectacular resort features equestrian-inspired details and art throughout. Guests can enjoy the luxurious rooms and suites while immersing themselves in the equestrian lifestyle. Relax at Kaluna Spa, lounge by the pool, or explore the variety of shopping and dining options available on site. The Equestrian Resort has world-class horses. It's got unique amenities. This is the ultimate in luxury, and they invited us inside to take a look at their suite.
Welcome to World Equestrian Center. We are here in the presidential suite of the Equestrian Hotel in the horse capital of the world, Ocala, Florida. This is the largest, most luxurious suite in the entire hotel. It is approximately 1,000 square feet. It's a 2-bedroom suite with a master suite and a second king-size bedroom also. There's a dining room, a full-sized kitchenette, 2.5 bathrooms. It's European design. The Roberts Design Group has meticulously detailed the suite with unique furniture and artwork that you can't find anywhere else in the world. What makes this suite especially unique is that it overlooks the grand outdoor arena at WEC, which is where all of the marquee horse events are. When guests stay in the presidential suite, we do our best to personalize the service, and that goes down to the floral amenities inside of the room, the different amenities from the food and beverage culinary team, including our hotel executive chef and our executive pastry chef. And we do everything we possibly can to make your experience as smooth as possible, including personalized reservation service at our dining options on property. This oversized kitchenette features a Wolf microwave and heating drawers, in addition to Sub-Zero full-sized refrigerator and freezer, and a Sub-Zero wine fridge. What I love about the oversized kitchenette is the custom cabinetry and the tile work, and guests always comment about how picturesque and idyllic it is. The dining space is a masterpiece. It centers around an extraordinary mahogany table with a unique burl inlay, sitting below a Schonbach chandelier, with equestrian artwork and very unique custom-designed chairs by the Roberts Design Group. It's a wonderful place to entertain and enjoy a meal with friends or family. The living room is the central gathering place between the two suites. It's a perfect place to entertain and gather with your friends and family. It features Ralph Lauren furniture and a Ralph Lauren Duke bar that ensures your evening nightcap is a luxurious affair. The guest is able to stock the bar on their own or request in advance for us to identify some great pieces for them.
While relaxing in the suite, you're sure to enjoy yourself. But if you want to leave the comfort of your temporary home, the city of Ocala awaits. Ocala isn't just a city, it's a destination where history, nature, and a passion for horses converge into a vibrant cultural tapestry. As you wander through the charming downtown area, you'll find an exciting mix of boutiques, local cafes, and art galleries set against the backdrop of historic architecture that narrates decades, even generations of local history. The city's geography is as diverse as its culture. Nestled amidst rolling hills and dotted with sprawling oak trees draped in Spanish moss, Ocala boasts scenic parks, highly regarded state preserves, and natural springs that have long attracted both locals and tourists. One can easily spend an afternoon exploring the wonders of Silver Spring State Park, where clear waters and lush canopies offer an escape for outdoor enthusiasts. For those with an appetite for adventure, wandering the trails of the Ocala National Forest reveals hidden springs, towering trees, and a wilderness that seems almost untouched by time. But Ocala's allure isn't solely in its landscapes. The city is a dynamic hub where modern life and equestrian traditions blend seamlessly. Here, spirited festivals celebrate the local horse culture with parades and community gatherings that evoke a sense of pride and unity. The local dining scene also reflects this vibrant spirit. Outdoor patios often host live music and impromptu conversations among neighbors, while restaurants serve up everything from southern comfort food to innovative culinary creations that pay homage to Florida's rich agricultural history. Moreover, the city's size provides just the right balance. A compact area that means everything is within reach, yet expansive enough to inspire exploration. So there's plenty to enjoy in the city of Ocala, but let's get back to the suite and see what else guests can enjoy there.
The master bedroom is one of the main attractions of this suite. It features a balcony door overlooking the Hotel Grand Arena. The room features a king-size bed, custom designed nightstands with equestrian bit poles. The room has ample seating and a 65-inch TV screen, along with a dresser. One thing in the room that catches my eye is this custom butler stand by Roberts Design, a great place to organize your belongings during your stay. The view from the master suite is unparalleled. Stepping out onto the balcony, you have an amazing view of the grand outdoor arena where you're able to watch over 40 weeks of equestrian events per year. The balcony features plenty of seating to be able to dine and relax. The balcony also offers a view of the plaza. The plaza offers multiple dining and shopping options. Guests are always in awe of the master bathroom. The bathroom features European mosaic tile, a double vanity, in a porcelain clawfoot tub. You'll never run out of closet space in the master bedroom. There's a closet in the main room, as well as another closet in the bathroom. The suite features a second bedroom with very similar appointments and also the same spectacular view.
Man, I am having a great time at this hotel, but enough lounging around. Let's take a look at some of the other amenities that you can enjoy when you visit the Equestrian Hotel.
One of the very unique features of staying at the Equestrian Hotel is that you're able to walk around World Equestrian Center and view all the different unique events free of charge. We're very proud that World Equestrian Center was featured in Time Magazine's World's Greatest Places. The Equestrian opened in 2021 and has provided amazing experiences to our guests since opening. Everybody who walks into the Equestrian Hotel is awestruck by the beauty of the Grand Lobby. When guests book the presidential suite at the Equestrian Hotel, it comes with many perks. We always include a complimentary golf cart, personalized concierge service to help you make all of your dining or spa reservations, in addition to custom amenities from our hotel executive chef and our executive pastry chef. World Equestrian Center is a culinary destination where, whether you're inside the hotel's dining outlets or around property, our executive chefs go above and beyond to exceed everybody's expectations with phenomenal flavors and unique offerings. If you have children, you simply must shop at Mr. Pickles and Sailor Bear Toy Shop. They have the most impressive collection of toys of any resort. And no trip to the Equestrian is complete without a visit to Emma's Patisserie. Thank you for joining us, and we hope to see you at World Equestrian Center and the Equestrian Hotel, and maybe even the Presidential Suite very soon.
We have America 250 on Saturday. It's kind of been a long time coming. We started, I think I did the first Florida America 250 preparation executive order in 2024. We started laying the groundwork. We did stuff all throughout 25 and so far in 26. One of the things we did was we commissioned statues in counties bearing the names of some of our founding fathers, or all of the founding fathers. So we have Washington in Washington County, Franklin in Franklin County, Hamilton, Madison, Monroe, Jefferson, and we've commissioned great statues and put them in places. We also commissioned a Washington statue. Well, actually, we didn't commission it. We got a statue loan from Mount Vernon that they put in the Florida State Capitol. So if you go in the front and you want to go to the governor's office, you turn and you see GW right there. And it's an amazing statue. We just unveiled, I don't know if we've put it out publicly yet, but we just unveiled in the Capitol across from the Washington, a Ponce de Leon statue. You know, we are in Florida, we are the oldest continually settled European place of any place in the United States. St. Augustine was before Jamestown. St. Augustine was before Plymouth Rock. And so we really are, now that was the Spanish, not the English. There's a little bit of tussle to kind of get us under the American system. And we eventually did that as a state. But you go back to the 1500s and Florida, what was there with these settlements. So we're recognizing that, and I think that's really good. So we did all that. We also did essay contests, and we did scholarships, speech and debate scholarships. So these essay contests, these students are earning college scholarships through our essay contests, and that's younger grades, high school, you name it. We did thousands and thousands of dollars of America 250 scholarships for these young kids. We also did the speech and debate, which we've been doing that for many years now, but part of it is civics, and we want to promote civics. The winner of our speech and debate now gets a $50,000 college scholarship. Now in Florida, I haven't let them raise tuition since I've been governor, so we have the lowest in-state tuition in the country by far, and we're going to keep it that way. So $50,000, when tuition's $6,300 a year, that pays for your tuition and then some, no problem. So that's a great thing. Second place got $25,000, and then 15 and 10. Massive amount of scholarship money going to this program, and I think it was really, really good. But it's an important celebration, but this is an outgrowth of our commitment to civics and history in Florida that we've had since the time I took office back in 2019. We established robust civic standards. We established a Civic Seal of Excellence program for teachers to get a $3,000 bonus if they go through this 50-hour course that talks about the building blocks of American society and Western civilization. Amazing course, not something you're going to get at Shoehorn U nowadays. It's just the way it is. And so we're filling a great niche there, making sure that people have the ability to really be informed and inspired by a lot of great ideas. And so on and on it goes. So this is a natural outgrowth. They have this Great American State Fair up in DC right now. I think our pavilion is the best by far. I don't even think it's close. We've done more on America 250 probably than all the other states put together, to be honest with you. I don't know that any of them are, well, I know a lot of them aren't commissioning statutes because I'm getting the statutes for cheap because the blue states are taking them down. So I know that they're not trying to lean into it like we are. So we're doing it right. And so why though? I mean, is it just kind of pomp and circumstances? Is it just pageantry? Well, there's nothing wrong with pomp and circumstance. There's nothing wrong with pageantry. There's nothing wrong with just having celebrations because it's fun, and I think people will have a fun, enjoyable weekend. We gave the state employees, we gave Friday and Monday off, so they got a 4-day weekend, and I'm happy to do that, and hopefully they enjoy. And so it's a time to be festive, have fun, fireworks, all this other stuff. But 250 should cause us to look back to 1776 and appreciate the fact that we've inherited a very momentous legacy of liberty, but then two, to think about and understand what were the founding fathers doing? What did they risk? Why did they risk? What were they trying to achieve? And then take that and apply that to what we have to deal with in modern America, because I can tell you the principles that founded this country are not limited to 1776 or 1787 or 1791. They're enduring truths about human nature, about the source of our rights, about the proper role of government, and the principles are as applicable today as they were then. It applies differently. They had horse and buggy. We have autonomous vehicles. They had, the quill pen, and we have text messaging and all these other things that I don't do with text, but a lot of people do, all this stuff. Emails, I don't do that anymore. I used to, but you do that. So it's different, but the underlying issues are really perennial, and they really are things that continue to rear their head. So you think back, so the Liberty Bell, they're in Independence Hall in 1776, and they've got a decision to make. Now, they arrived there in 1776 after having many years of discontentment with the mother country. They were upset that Parliament was taxing them without their consent. Now, those taxes were very meager compared to what we put up with today. Part of the reason why I'm trying to do the property tax for you guys. You guys shouldn't just submit and say you're going to be taxed all the time. But anyways, the founders, they would have never put up with half of what goes on here for one day. So it was a much different time. So even these little taxes, they were like, well, wait a minute, if you can tax me for a penny, you can tax me for a pound, then you can tax me for more. And how am I supposed to stop it? I'm basically giving up my liberty to some far distant governing body. And they didn't like that. So they had this huge fight, Stamp Act, Boston Tea Party, all these different things. And they were mad at Parliament. And then it turned into they were really mad at the king. And they didn't understand why you should have a king at all. Why not have a government of, by, and for the people? So there was a lot that led up to this. It didn't just kind of happen overnight. But when they got to Philadelphia, they had a very, very momentous decision to make. Because if they were to go through with independence, there was no turning back. As Ben Franklin said, they will either hang together or they will assuredly hang separately. They would have been executed for treason had the revolution not succeed. And so they were playing for keeps. And it wasn't like they were playing with house money or had nothing to lose. They had a lot to lose. These were people that were very successful. Many of them were very wealthy. They were movers and shakers in the colonies. They could have very easily just decided to grin and bear it. They were comfortable, and who cares what would happen, right? They could have said, yeah, future generations, liberty's eroded, it's not my problem. They could have said that, but that's not what they said. So they made the decision to pledge their lives, their fortunes, and their sacred honor to establish a new nation conceived in liberty. a nation that pledged itself to the idea that our rights come from God, not from the government, that government is a matter of law, not of the whim of individual rulers, and that constitutionally government needed to be limited and we shouldn't have concentrations of power. So they take this big leap in Philadelphia in 1776, which this is a great symbol of, and they were, you had some people like in the colonies who were very smart, but they were like not on board with the revolution. And you read some of the correspondence, and they're just like, some of them are just stunned. They're like, how delusional do these people think they are, that they're going to revolt and win a war against the most powerful country on earth? Like, really? You think you're going to do that? And it was almost like a 1 in a million shot in many respects. And so they were not predicted to necessarily win, although I think the lessons in these things that we've seen, certainly in recent years, when you're there against kind of the more occupying power, you just got to not lose. If you don't lose, you win, right? So they had to just stick it out. They had to just make sure that they weren't defeated, and then eventually things could turn their way. And so that's what ended up happening. It was very difficult. There was a lot of sacrifice, but it's just like anything. You had a third of the people that were for independence. You had a third of the people that weren't. They didn't want to risk it. They were happy. They may not have liked everything Parliament was doing, but they did not want to put their hide on the line for this cause. And then you had a third in the middle who didn't care, were just apathetic. That's kind of how things are now. You got people that they're just checked out. So you had some that were just not there. So you basically have a third of the country, of the colonies, that were in support of independence and were outgunned, but they were fighting for something larger than themselves, and they viewed it as something that was important, not just for their lives, but for all of human history. And we are fortunate to have people that were willing to do that, that were willing to put their neck on the line, that were willing to risk a lot. And they did risk their lives, they did risk their fortunes, and they did risk their sacred honor in service of this cause. So you end up doing that, and it was successful, but you end up on the other side of the revolution, and you don't have a functioning government. You have some of these state governments that are out of control. So a lot of the movers and shakers, the Ben Franklins, the Madisons, the George Washingtons, all right, we got to figure out how do we get a governing framework. So they go back to Philadelphia in 1787, and they do they called it the Federal Convention, Constitutional Convention, to try to create a federal government framework that would be limited in enumerated powers, but that would be able to do the core things that you would need a nation to do, while leaving to the states most of the other things that affect people's daily lives. And so they labored on that. And yet all these things here, there, other ways. At one point, Benjamin Franklin, when things looked desperate, he stood up and said, how are we doing this? We haven't once appealed to what he called the Father of Lights to illuminate our understanding. So he's basically calling for some prayer. Now, Franklin was very well known as a deist. Now, not all the founding fathers were, but he was considered a rationalist and a deist. So sometimes people will look at that historical record now, they'll go, see, Franklin's praying. He wasn't a deist, he was a believer. I think at the time, the delegates are there, and they know things aren't going well, and I think they're thinking to themselves, man, if even Franklin's praying, we must be in dire straits here. We got to kick it into high gear. So they do that, and eventually they're able to come to an agreement on a lot of the key things in the Constitution. And at the end of that, you got everyone going up. If you've ever been, has anyone been to Independence Hall in Philadelphia here? How many of you have been? So we have a handful of people. It's very small. I mean, it's amazing how small it is. There certainly wasn't air conditioning back then. So certainly in the July, August time period, which was both the Declaration and the Constitution time period, they're sweating. It's tough. I don't think they necessarily had Philly cheesesteak stands like they do now. Very good. Corey knows that from Philly. He knows that. And they got some better spots from when you played too. I've been to some of them. So, it wasn't the easiest thing. Now they would go and they had some taverns close by, so they handled themselves accordingly with that. And then when both the Declaration and the Constitution, I think that they had pretty big parties for that. But it wasn't easy. And so there was a lot of a debate about whether this could even work. So finally, they do the Constitution. They're up there signing their names on the document, and Franklin stands up again, and he looks to the front of the convention hall where George Washington had been sitting. George Washington was the president of the convention, not yet president of the United States, and Washington's chair had half of a sun cresting on the top of the chair. And so Franklin said, you know, I've been looking at the president's chair throughout the course of these proceedings, trying to figure out whether that was a setting sun or a rising sun. And then as the Constitution was coming in for a landing, Franklin's like, well, now I know for sure that that is a rising sun, and basically signifying the rise of a new republic, a new empire of liberty, a nation that was conceived differently than what nations had been before. And this Liberty Bell is as good a symbol as any of what transpired in Philadelphia over those critical meetings in both 1776 and 1787. And what I tell people is, you know, understand what they were doing. It's very important that you understand your rights are God-given, not government-granted. If the government gives you their rights, then the government can take your rights. If God is giving you rights, then legitimate government is only such that it protects the rights that you already have based on God's gift of liberty. How you have limitations on government, all these things are really, really important. But the larger question, I think, was even more important than all those things, which kind of builds up. And the question that they were trying to ask was, okay, can you actually have a free society, a republic, self-government? Could it actually succeed or not? Because they went into Philadelphia, they had studied all the republics in the history of mankind. The one thing that all of them had in common was this: everyone throughout human history had failed. And so they really believed it fell to the United States to determine, can people actually govern themselves? Can you have a society based on the idea of natural rights, based on the idea of rule of law, based on the idea of separated powers and no concentration of power? Or if it doesn't work here in these United States, then we're basically consigned to live under various forms of despotism. And that was the experiment. They knew what they were doing set the stage for it, but they also knew that it doesn't run on autopilot, and each generation of Americans would have to step up and fight for freedom, sometimes even putting on the cloth of your country and risking your life, and even some who gave their life in service to something greater than themselves. So we're here 250 years, and we're still answering the same question about, can we govern ourselves? Can we do it? And I like to think that if you look around the country, you see a very wide variety of approaches amongst many different states, I can tell you that. And I think some of the states would cause you to maybe shake your head and doubt whether self-government was something that could actually work. But I think if you look at the free state of Florida, we are carrying the torch that represents that spirit of 1776. We are showing that you can reduce your budget 4 years in a row. You can pay down debt. You can do things for education and environment and infrastructure. You can do big-time policies like we've done in recent years, and we're just going to do one. I'm going to implement, or we're going to do the announcement for some of the things with our Sharia bill that we did to ban Sharia and designate terrorist organizations. So we're doing all these different things, and people have obviously gravitated to Florida. I'm not recruiting people to move here because we've got a lot of people, but you've seen how people have voted with their feet. And I think the founders would look to the free state of Florida, and I think they would have a lot of comfort in knowing that the experiment is alive and well here in the Sunshine State. So we commemorate that this weekend and think about what they went through, think about the sacrifices, but then also pledging ourselves to be worthy heirs of this legacy and to be faithful to the principles on which our nation was founded. Okay, Cordberg.
Well, thank you, Governor. Good morning. I'm Cordberg, Florida Secretary of State, and I can't think of a better way to kick off Independence Week than in the aptly named Liberty County. So this Liberty Bell was first installed at Florida's historic capitol in 1950, and it was acquired as part of the Save for Your Independence bond drive campaign by the U.S. Treasury. Floridians purchased more than $9 million worth of bonds during the campaign, and the Liberty Bell was moved several times around the Capitol complex. And now it's moving to its permanent home here at the Liberty High School to teach future generations about the importance of liberty, and that we remember the sacrifices made by Americans and Floridians for liberty, and that we celebrate the endurance of our nation. And the governor mentioned that a lot was happening in Florida around the time of the Revolution. We were not one of the original 13 stars on Betsy Ross's flag, but we're billing our celebration as Florida the 14th colony. And in celebration of that, the governor he's correct, he's leading the biggest and best state celebration. Our state parks are offering free admission on from July 3rd through the 5th. And we would encourage Floridians to get out, visit the different statues we've unveiled. And you can also participate in Florida's America 250 FL road trip. You can see the Florida Freedom Tour. So we have two 18-wheelers that are traveling the state with Florida history. And you can learn more on America250fl.com, where we have local events and other things that you can learn about what has taken place in Florida to keep us the best and freest state in the country. I do want to take a moment and thank all of the hardworking state workers at the Department of Transportation and the Department of State. Moving something like this and setting it up isn't easy. It's hot out, so I really want to thank those who have been traveling the state as we've been unveiling these statues for their hard work in making this happen. And finally, Thomas Jefferson, when he did the Louisiana Purchase, said he wanted to have America be an empire of liberty. And as we're watching the World Cup and you're seeing people from around the world come to the United States, they're seeing that we are an empire of liberty. We're blessed to have so much wealth, so much abundance, so much liberty and freedom. And it's a good reminder for all of us that sometimes we may take that liberty and freedom for granted. So on July 4th, make sure you take a moment in the midst of all the fun and celebration and pool parties and beach and picnics to take a moment to thank God for our ability and privilege and blessing to live here. And I'll leave you with this, because on the Liberty Bell is a passage from Leviticus 25:10, and it says, "Proclaim liberty throughout all the land unto all the inhabitants thereof." That's what we're doing in Florida. And on July 4th, make sure that you're doing that. Proclaim liberty throughout the land, and make sure you're reminding your friends and family of that as well. So thank you. It's an honor to be here with you today.
Well, good morning. My name is Brian Griffin. I'm the president and CEO of Visit Florida, which is Florida's tourism agency. And well said, Governor and Secretary Byrd. Praise God for Florida. Praise God for America. Florida is leaning all in for America 250, and it's a great thing. And it's great to be here in Liberty County, where there's many wonderful things to do. I encourage, if I can just take a moment as our tourism director, people to visit Liberty County. We've got things like Apalachicola National Park, Toriga State Park. You can even go to the Gregory House, which is a preserved mid-1800s antebellum homestead. You can walk through and experience history. You've got the Garden of Eden hiking trail, which is one of my favorites, short drive from Tallahassee. There's a lot to do here. In fact, Liberty County is the least populous county of Florida's 67 counties. And I did want to take this opportunity to make a commitment from Visit Florida. I took this position over about a year ago, and previously we were highlighting in state marketing each of Florida's 31 rural counties. We'd have to kind of break it up. We'd do 5 or 6 counties a year. As of now, and continuing moving forward in state marketing, we're going to make sure that we advertise or have an opportunity to encourage people to visit every single one of the 31 rural counties in Florida every single year, and that's going to continue to happen in our marketing. We're also, Visit Florida is very committed to being a primary partner with the state and celebrating America 250, and it's great to be here unveiling monuments like this. We've also commissioned and have now put out a docu-series highlighting history around the state, places you can visit where you can see how Florida contributed to the story of the Republic. Our episodes feature Miami, Tallahassee and Fort St. Joe, the Keys and the Everglades, Tampa, Pensacola, Cape Canaveral, and St. Augustine. And we wanted to encourage people to visit Florida if they are interested in history and in seeing how we contributed to America. So go to America250fl.com and you can see those. You can also at that website Find the 250 road trip, which will be something you can experience even beyond July 4th, or you can visit historic landmarks and sites around the state. And we are compiling there a database of activities and events to do to celebrate on the 4th. As the governor said, we also were helping to execute the Great American State Fair Florida Pavilion, which is the best state pavilion of all 50 there on the National Mall. That's going to be running through July 10th, and I encourage you to visit that if you're going to be in the area. This statue series also has been such a great thing to do, to have these enduring tributes to our country now erected around the state for people to enjoy for a long time to come. This Liberty Bell, very fitting to be here in Liberty County. You know, on this day in history, the delegates to the Continental Congress would be convening July 1st to start to revise and debate and talk about and vote upon the Declaration of Independence. And ultimately that would happen on the 4th, but the Liberty Bell would be calling people into the Pennsylvania State House. And then it was rung on monumentous occasions when we signed the Constitution and in other important times. And it's just an audible reminder of what we as a country put first, which is liberty and freedom. And it celebrates the courage that our founding fathers had and the ideas that are contained in our founding documents. And I hope that residents and visitors alike have the opportunity to travel the state, to see these monuments, and to uncover some new favorite destinations around Florida. Thank you very much.
Thanks for watching Spotlight on Florida. Make sure and follow us on all our social media channels. This is your announcer, John Summer, speaking. Have a great day, Florida.